Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we can start at 6:02 then. Great. Okay, so it's called to order 6:02. Public comment period. I don't think there's any members of the public here, so we're good for that. And additional items to the agenda. Anyone want to add anything to the agenda? All right, sounds good. Review and approve the minutes of February 12th. Would that
You
be the
have that?
edit?
I didn't send it out after I edited it.
What's the
So
edit say now?
whatever you wanted it to say. Maybe table it for next.
Maybe we'll table it because there was a missing sentence.
Yeah.
I noticed that was like, it was like there was, and then the sentence didn't end. So we just want to finish that sentence and then we'll table that and we'll approve those at our next meeting then.
That was the whole thing.
I know, it happens. I think we were trying to say how many people attended,
Oh, probably.
I think is what the missing point was. Okay, so Nikki's actually having a hard time hearing. Anyone else having a hard time hearing? No, okay. Cool, sorry, Nikki. I can't change anything else.
She has her mute on.
Well, she's muted, so she's not
Oh,
talking
from
to us,
us?
but that doesn't mean that that's her.
Oh,
Would you put headphones in? Sometimes that can help.
or checked, yeah, her,
She figured it out. Great. Okay, good.
okay. Turning the volume up, got it.
Okay, great. That's on that. Okay, sorry. I'm doing double laptop here with a TV screen behind, so it's a lot. Okay.
You're
Great.
ultra multitask.
Oh,
I know.
it's a lot. Okay, cool. I mean, it's nothing, and you should all be the chair. No? Okay. So we're gonna table that so we can finish that sentence. I think
Yeah.
Zaley had told us how many people attended, and we didn't finish that. I think that's what the sentence is gonna say. That's my
Yeah.
guess. So do you want to just ask Zaley about it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on and table the rest of that minutes until we get that last sentence figured out. Correspondence. I didn't have any official correspondence in the mailbox. I don't think we got anything particular that wasn't already on the agenda. Anyone good with that? We're good with that. Great. Can I move this to new business? We'll begin new business with our annual meeting, which begins with the election of officers. So we typically have a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk. And that's what we usually do. I talked to Kieran, he said he was fine with continuing as vice chair. He said he hasn't put a lot of energy towards being vice chair, but he would be happy to continue in that role and maybe try to do more in the future or not. But he said he would be fine if someone wanted to nominate him for that, or he would be fine if someone else wanted to do it. Like he was good with whatever.
I'd be happy to nominate him for his extraordinary efforts in this first.
All right, do we have a second then? It feels like we're going out of order, but that's okay. Do we have a second then to have Kieran be the vice chair?
I'll second.
Okay, great. And then all those in favor of him serving as chair?
Do you want to do it as a whole slate?
Oh, at the end? We could do it at the end? Oh no, I don't know if that's appropriate Robert's rules. I'm not gonna read Robert's rules right now in front of you.
I have often been familiar with it.
Jono says we can do this as a slate. That sounds great. Okay, so then who would like to be the chair?
I nominate Carolyn.
I think Carolyn has done such an extraordinary job that we would be remiss if we did not nominate her.
I think Carolyn's pretty good doing the parts, but
Oh,
like,
there is so many parts that she does so well.
that's fine. If anyone else wants to do it, they could.
They sure could. But
Oh, that Roger, that was like ghostly.
I know.
Okay, well, there was a first. Is there a second?
Did I do oh, wait, Nancy nominated, I'm happy to second.
Great.
I'd
Okay.
even third if I could.
Great, he's gonna third it even, fantastic. Okay, again, a breach of Robert's rules. Okay, then who, that's fine, I can do that. And then who wants to be clerk this year? Often we pops around between a few different people. We just wanna make sure it's someone who's going to come to most meetings, or at least we have a backup person who will agree to do it if that person can't do it all the time.
I mean, as long as you're good with sentences half finished in your minutes.
It was in a year, I think we can handle it. Okay, do we do it again then?
Yeah,
I would nominate.
as long as people will do it when I'm not here.
Okay,
That's the only way I'll accept the nomination.
Do you
Is
think that
someone
it
gonna do it when she's not here? Because I can't do both. I tried once and it was a big disaster.
was Zaley usually your
Yeah,
back,
she-
Yeah,
back and backup?
she probably is fine with that.
No, people are always willing to do it when I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay,
I tried once to do both and it was so slow. It was really hard to do both.
well, if you're facilitating a meeting, you're running the meeting and
Yes.
And the minutes.
and doing minutes, that's
It was really hard. So.
that's overload, even for an ultra multitasker like yourself.
No, with a 3-screen multi. Okay, that sounds great. So people will agree to help us, just some nodding. Great. Okay, cool. So then all those in favor of those 3 nominations, say aye.
Uh,
I
Okay, great. Was that everyone? I think that was everyone. Okay. Is that
yes,
unanimous
so
consent?
so
of the
Carolyn as
president?
the chair,
Yes.
Kiernan as the vice chair, and Nancy as the secretary,
Clerk.
clerk.
We changed it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Even better.
Cool. All right, that sounds fine to me. And then since we're on this, and I just want to make sure, we also have Jono, Gail, and Zaylee. Hey, John, member of the public has just arrived. Jono and Gail and Zaylee have all terms that expire in March. I have not heard, normally I hear before this meeting from the town office as to whether or not you've gotten a letter about that, and whether you've accepted that letter or not. What's our status there?
Unless it went into junk mail, which I highly doubt, because I'm pretty good about checking it, I did not receive a letter to reaffirm. And at the moment, I would be happy to continue on if that serves the, to the benefit of the committee. But I'm also fully aware that this would be the start of a 3rd term, if I'm not mistaken, and new blood is always a very good thing for an organization.
You just triple seconded me doing the chair. Now you're like, I could leave though. That's so dirty. Oh my gosh.
No, well, I'm offering,
You're offering increase.
I'm willing, I would like to stay. But I'm also recognizing that if there was some others that were new to become members, that I would give up my spot.
That's very kind of you. Okay, so, Gail, do you want?
I have not gotten a letter.
We usually always get a
Yeah,
letter
they
like
email
right
me.
after town or right before town meeting, right?
Yeah.
It's probably because the
I'm never
whole,
having-
the whole functioning of the renovations is disrupted things.
That's
I'm
true, yeah.
kind of
There's
joking. there.
administrative team, so maybe that's just in the work still. I'll follow up with that. Gail, are you interested in staying on though?
Well, I've been a little bit on the fence between having a concussion and sort of feeling kind of overwhelmed. And honestly, I don't know if I really have what you guys need for this committee. I've been really grateful to be on it. So I don't know if I don't have to decide right now, then I can let you know. I've been a little bit on the fence about it.
We're gonna send that letter to you, and then you can totally decide what you wanna do, that's fine for both of you, I'm not giving you a hard time, but you can, of course, decide whatever you wanna do. And same with Zaylee, who isn't here, but of course, you can. And we'll just sort of see where that lands, we should be expecting those letters soon. Speaking of membership then, or interest in the town, we have someone just join us, a member of the public, do you introduce yourself?
Sure.
Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Cummings. I'm a new member, new resident of Bristol. We're buying a house on Monday, but renting currently, and I work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on endangered species management. And have known Carolyn for about 20 years.
Ooh. Yeah, it's totally random. They just moved here and I'm like, what? Like who just moves to your small town? So it's
That
pretty
is,
exciting.
but you've known each other for decades.
My
Yes.
wife and Carolyn both went to Kenyon College.
Ah,
We were bridesmaids for each other. It's insane. And they just moved to this small town. Like,
wow.
yeah,
That's kismet, right?
I know
there.
it's super kismet, but he's super qualified to do conservation work more than me. Let's make him chair. Man, I want to do this. So yeah, do you want to tell us about what you do?
Sure, yeah, so most of my work is evaluating counts of wildlife in some form or fashion to predict their viability and inform risk assessments for Endangered Species Act implementation. But yeah, I've been in conservation biology basically since undergrad time frame. Went to UVM for PhD work, so, and grew up in Westford, Vermont, so kind of know the area too. And have some acquaintances, a friend is a regional planner in Lamoille County. So have some kind of regional planning background, a little bit, with connections to it.
Well, a timely meeting because we're gonna be reviewing a town plan and the conservation section.
Exactly, yeah. So John reached out to me 2 days ago, yesterday, something like that, and asked, if there was space on our board and said if there was space, he would join, and if there isn't space, he was interested in helping out. And we're gonna be doing a large renovation rewrite of the town plan. It was last approved in 2020. We're going to have a 2028 version coming out soon, and they want to do a really big rewrite. And so I don't know what this would look like yet, but in fact, this is the kind of thing that you might be interested in kind of advising in, even if you weren't officially on the commission. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit today.
I will-
We're gonna revisit the old one.
Add in that part of what I sent out in an email today was that the Addison County Regional Planning Commission is trying to do a series of public listening sessions on their sections of conservation, and they're gonna have at least 4 meetings of different parts of it. So that, once you're on the email list, we can also find on Front Porch Forum that you might have some valuable input there.
Mhm. So yeah, so we'll talk about that later. So if someone wanted to step off the commission, John was interested in, are you interested in joining? Yeah, that's what your email said, right? But if not, he's interested in hanging out and advising us and stuff, or whatever you want.
Yeah, I've got enough going on, I don't have to join, but I'm happy to help.
That sounds
But
perfect.
it's, there's space, so, yeah,
That sounds great.
You're in the batter circle then.
right, yeah.
That's right. Well, we used to have, Aiden was our sort of like backup, and then he said he felt uncomfortable working for the town and being on the commission, so we don't have anyone in the wings right now, so
Yeah,
the wings are empty,
yeah. We like to have our wings pretty full when we can. It's
Yeah.
rare.
yeah. I mean, we went down to like 3 members for a while there, so
Mm,
we're happy to have a
That
full.
wouldn't even allow for a quorum.
Yeah, it was really bad, yeah, COVID, man. Okay, great, so that's our current, election of officers, current membership, and, so we all know where we stand there, and then I think we'll move on to town meeting debrief. Great, does anyone have anything they want to debrief from the town meeting?
I don't recall if there were any there was any specific discussion about conservation and things that would be relevant to our having some I don't know, reflection on.
Yeah, I have 2 items I want to talk about, but I'm happy for other people to start. No, okay, someone stood up on the floor and they noticed that there was no interest recorded for the A. Johnson Fund. The A. Johnson Fund was a bequeath from Andrew Johnson's estate of $100,000. We weren't sure what to do with the money as a town. It was decided that it would go, my understanding at least, is we go into a trust and then we would use the interest to buy trees. So that fund, it was listed as $108,000. But then it said there was 0 interest paid into that fund over the last year. It looks like it was an accounting error, more like an accounting. They just didn't put it in the report the right way, but maybe the money was there, but it was unclear, and someone had asked that, from the balcony.
That's right.
And so I wanted to follow up on that, then, and make sure that
I
that
thought
is
there was a
getting.
clarification that it started as 100 and then the 108 was the interest. They just didn't break it out to show
Yeah,
us.
it's indicative that interest is accruing, but I would be interested to see how much interest is accruing. And, how much is accruing, like what kind of fund is that in? And then also, what are we doing with that interest? Are we using it to spend it on trees, that kind of thing? Which
Well,
was the
depending on
intention.
when the fund started, at 8,000 roughly, that would mean it was probably somewhere over 7%, which seems kind of high, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think it started maybe, I would guess 7 years ago was my best guess.
Oh,
is when
that's the
I started.
case, then that's
But
a
I do-
very low interest
I
rate.
do think last I saw, I was able to get the file one time. I was able to get like my hands on what the interest statement was, and it was a really low.
Is it as long, as far back as 7 years? That
I think it
seems,
might have been.
well,
It could
I
be.
would have guessed that the interest rate would have been closer around 3 or 4%
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, so we'll check
That-
that out. I think that they did use it once for some trees. But I just would like to see more of that history, especially because someone brought up at time.
Well, it would make sense because they have done some John Swepson and so on,
Mhm.
some plantings, I
Yeah.
think, around town, so that could be that and they're only able to garner from the interest, not go into the
Yeah.
principal, I think.
Yeah,
Great,
but there's still $8,000 accrued that should we spend on trees maybe this
Could be,
year? Is that
yeah.
something that we're interested in?
Yeah.
So I thought we would,
and that's
pursue
the
that.
only way that the money can be used,
I don't really know the details
Yeah.
on the top of my
but at
head.
least one way, okay.
I think that was and I think that's also like in the spirit of what the select board said at the time of the bequeath. There was a few, oh, hello. Yes,
It's the only way it can be used.
it's only making use. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sorry for the.
Hey, Greg,
Oh, no, it's all good, yeah,
County system did appropriately.
yeah,
So,
perfect.
and then you brought part of that, it's about 2%,
yeah,
or it's a CD, so it's.
Yeah.
Like.
That's,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Some years ago, like,
yeah,
so,
does that automatically probably roll over then?
yeah, I, and
Not
last,
exactly, but,
prior to, a long time before I got
Yeah.
here, and I think you guys would have known, but since I've been in last April, there's been no talk about it. So,
yeah.
normally we use it.
Yeah, I know John Swepson, I think, used it at one point with the town to do some trees.
Yeah,
yeah,
Which is a point, so that's good.
Conservation.
Yeah, we just try to keep our eye on that. Since someone mentioned at town meeting, we just wanted to
Sure.
make sure.
if you give me a little bit of time, I can have our account break down the interest accrued over different years. I also promised that gentleman at town meeting, I would give him the breakdown per year.
oh, two birds with one stone.
Yeah, so, they're already working on that, when I get that back, I'll make sure.
That'd be great, yeah.
Thanks,
I'd
Greg.
also be interested to know, like, are we able to put that in a fund that can get more interest or not, right? I don't know what that would look
I
like.
believe the H. Johnson Trust would manage that, and that would be a conversation probably best for the
Do you
committee.
think the principal is not in the town's control, it's still with A. Johnson's control?
Well, there's legal. We have legal agreements about what will be done with the money, so while it might be an account of ours, we wouldn't do anything that will legally break what we've agreed to do.
Sure, sure.
But for
Yeah.
like, as far as actual guardrails that the bank has put in, and I'm not a banker, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they have restrictions on that. too, so.
Yeah.
There might, if it's in a trust of some sort, there might be a trustee that has to,
There,
that has to qualify the use,
Mhm.
I would think.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, we just can't go and just.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
would,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was unclear if that was something that the town had kind of just like in a column of money, or if it was like officially legally somewhere else as a trust, right? I just wasn't sure
Yeah,
which was the case.
I
for
think
that.
we, obviously, we have control over it, right, but they are managed.
Got it.
So
Okay,
it's pretty well.
It's probably account operated by the town, but overseen technically in
Yeah,
terms of its
for us to even
disperse,
vision into it, we would have to have.
dispersal. Yeah.
People.
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we're still keep our eye on that, so we
Yeah,
make sure.
sorry.
That's great. Oh,
But I
no, of
just want-
course, yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Right, and just for our minutes, would you mind saying your name?
My name is Greg Faust, I'm the minister.
Thank you. Hi. Okay, so that was Greg, the town administrator, who just popped over to tell us that they're looking into it, and they're going to, I don't know if you could hear that or not. They're going to have the treasurer, write up some information for us so we can try to track that money. And, see where that's at, make sure that interest is good. Other things about town meeting. I had a long meeting with Greg, who has not yet met with the Conservation Commission. And he was interested to work with us and to, talk about the various accounts. We have the, operating budget that it's often a little bit vague what's happening there. We have, in a stock fund, There's also different plans, we want to talk about, he wanted to ask us about memorial, ask us about our plans, our vision for the town plan, so. He wanted me to meet with him at some point, maybe the next month or two, so I'll start that process as well. I'm gonna let you know how that meeting goes as well. But that came out of town meeting. Anything else about town meeting? Okay, fantastic, great. All right, let's move on to old business, town plan meeting. This is familiar self, town plan planning. Okay, I wrote that, that's on me. Town plan planning. Familiarize ourselves with the 2020 town plan. So, were people able to look at that this week? Or this month, I should say. This was the plan we have now. Remember, this is the 2020 town plan. A new one is going to be put out to the town for approval in 2028. They are hiring a consultant to help really rewrite this. And there've been a lot of revisions over the years. They want to do kind of a new version for 2028. AZ, the zoning and planning coordinator, I think is their title, came to speak to us last month. And they said that by April meeting, they would have something to tell us about that. So we said that in the meantime, this month, we would look over the 2020 version and familiarize ourselves with that and those goals. And so you can see in that plan, then there's a lot of work on scenic, historic, and cultural resources that we could have comments on. Natural resources is the big area, I think, and then land use and planning. There's also some scenic and cultural, scenic cultural resources, that's right, okay, so chapters 3, 10, and 12 with an emphasis on chapter 10, natural resources. And there's many of these sort of specific things we were asked to think about or tasked with. So I'm gonna try to use Zoom and share that with everyone. Let's do that. So what this document is, great. This is a task implementation file that we got from Kevin Hansen, who was sort of running this effort in for the 2020 plan. And he gave us this file, and for a while there, maybe a year or so, he was asking us to update our progress on the things that we have been set to. So you can see we have let me just, sorry, I gotta move my Zoom window around a little. So I can see in column D, you can see we have the scenic, historic, cultural resources, there's some recreational healthy living, natural resource and forest blocks, and then flood resiliency. And these are the action items the planning commission had sought for us to do in E. And then F is things that we had written in about how, things that we had done so far. And then I believe on this sheet, we can change the completed numbers. Does that work? No, sorry. I think we can edit this. And it'll fill in that percent completed in column B. And so the idea is that they wanted us to be looking at this every quarter, every 6 months, and be updating that. Now, the last time I updated this file was in spring of 2021. And the planning commission sort of stopped sending it to us. They used to send it to us, then resend it to us every so often. And then I think you just lose steam on these sorts of things sometimes. So I pulled this back out to get ready for this meeting. And I just thought we could go through and talk about, have we done these things? Are we doing them? And what might we say is our completion number? So we would have something we could tell AZ, this is what we've done, when we meet with him then in April. So that is my vision for what we could do as a good use of time right now. How do we feel about that? Anyone? I really can't see
Yes.
you. Great, thank you. Cool. Okay, so identify significant public scenic resources. I don't know if we have progress on this, what progress on this would look like besides just ongoing. I don't have a good sense of how one might accomplish this. What in terms of an actionable, like deliverable about this? What are our thoughts? I don't know if we've
What
even,
are-
have
what
we
is
done
that?
this? What would
Like,
that?
what's an example of a public scenic resource?
Well,
Okay,
it-
first- Yeah,
At one point, did a survey, and I think it may have been the planning commission that spearheaded the survey to ask residents to think about scenic, what they viewed of as public scenic resources. So things like view sheds. There's a lovely view from the top of Livingston Hill to the north, um, or the view of Mount Abe from Eagle Park or something like that. So it could be crowdsourced.
yeah.
And it might be something that we want to do as part of the rewrite of the natural resources section of the town plan, is to issue a survey to ask people what they think of as public scenic resources within the town boundaries.
Okay, great. So that's a good idea. We could think about that, and we could also ask AZ at the next meeting if that's something that would be desirable data to collect, right?
Yep.
Okay, maintain existing public facilities and outdoor spaces that encourage social and leisure time activities among town residents. Um. Maintain existing facilities, so I think that the rec department has done a lot of this. I don't have a level of responsibility is a 3. So this is something that I think was mostly done by the rec department.
Would our regular maintenance of the town parks count in that category?
Right. Okay, cool. That would count.
As
So we,
as well as our participation on the accessible spaces committee that kind of tried to identify strategies to make the existing public parks more open to all, more inclusive.
yeah, and then pollinator garden, what else is the like fishing platform garden, what's that one called? The,
The fishing platform, the universal fishing platform, UFP.
we've done a lot of work on that, what do we call that?
I think perennial,
Yeah,
perennial garden. I don't think it was pollinators. It's perennial.
cool. And then like, oh, and then also, apple trees.
I stepped out for a minute, so I just heard apple trees.
Not yet, no,
No.
what we're doing right, yes, but in a minute. What we're doing right now is we're going through this document we haven't looked at in too many years. And we're trying to say, how much have we accomplished, or what would we be interested in accomplishing, or how do, what have we been doing that aligns with the action items from the 2020 town plan? And the planning commission used to ask us for updates, and they sort of stopped several years ago, so we're just trying to like remember what these were, so we could talk to AZ about that in
Got it.
April.
Yep.
Okay, strive to maintain, okay, this is number 2. Strive to maintain and improve public access to New Haven River, Baldwin Creek, and Bristol Pond. Yeah, definitely. There's also the new trails. At Sycamore. There's, what else is there? The universal fishing platform,
Yeah.
the Eagle.
You have opportunistic, did you mean opportunities?
I think that there was ongoing maintenance and opportunistic maintenance, opportunistic improvement.
You sure that isn't, okay, it wasn't opportunities?
I don't really know. It's a no.
Just opportunistic doesn't seem close. It seems more like opportunities, because maintenance and opportunities, but opportunistic improvements doesn't quite
Opportunities,
seem right.
beautiful. Okay, great. That sounds good.
Oh, Carolyn, another would be that we conserved the the Paul Fuller parcel that is contiguous to Saunders River access. So that's now in town ownership as of 2020, one-ish, which might be since the latest town plan version. So in other words, we expanded public access along an additional half a mile of river frontage in the New Haven with that acquisition.
Total, that's great. And I can like wordsmith some of this too.
Yeah, yeah.
Ideas down. Develop a management plan to minimize the reduction of invasive species to Bristol's natural beauties on town properties. And this was something we wrote a long time ago, included in the park management plans.
We kind of make reference to it, but it's not an invasive management plan. I think we say in the town plans, we should work on an invasives management plan.
Feel like the Japanese knotweed is so bad that we're just like, we've lost, you know? So
Right.
Work with the wood chips and stuff
That's
for
the
sycamore.
wood chipping and sycamore.
Yeah, and I would say, I'm not so sure we did a lot of work, but the resources that he was able to have bear on the project this past fall was significant. And it's the type of work that if you don't maintain it, you're gonna lose a lot of ground.
Yep. Okay, so that's something we can still think about working on then. Develop education outreach materials for landowners about rare, threatened, endangered species and how to develop a management plan for these sites. Well, we did do some with that. That's in the management plans, but also those Middlebury students did make, those Middlebury students did those flyers, right? That brochure.
Yeah.
As a culmination of their study, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Okay, work with adjacent towns, local groups, state agencies, and willing landowners to develop low environmental impact biking and hiking trails and promote access to natural resource areas. Yeah, okay, collaborating with the Button, that's the Bristol Trail Network, and rec opportunities as opportunities arise.
Well, there is some nice bike trails that the bike club through the rec park uses up at New Leaf Organics. We didn't have any involvement in it, but I don't know if that's worth noting.
Is that Bristol or is that Moncton? That's right in the line, isn't it?
It is right on the line.
I'm not sure.
I know, well, I think. Yeah, technically the lands, I don't know.
I don't know either, yeah. But yes, that's, if we got a stretch to make it look like, yeah, have more things. But I don't know actually.
But it's used.
What?
It says adjacent town.
Oh, nice job. Look at John.
Look
coming
at the
through.
member of the public.
Jeez.
Reading comprehension is through the roof. Liver organics,
Remember.
bike trails. What about, Roger, what's that thing called on Hogback?
Gonna say.
South Mountain, what's the? What's the
Oh,
Hogback?
yeah.
Do you lose Roger?
It
Oh, just yell into the
is-
voice.
No, I'm here. It is a little hard to see to hear. Sorry. What is what called?
Timberlands?
Timberlands.
Right, Roger? That's
Yeah, the
their-
Timberland Trails Project. Yep.
Timber. Well, I guess we're gonna get to that, cause that seems like it was got a great robust start and then I haven't.
I agree, I don't know what's happening with
Winter.
that. No.
That's very accurate. That's
Things we can be like asking and thinking about though, and putting this on our radar for answering these questions of what we've actually done for
Yeah.
these, right? Like that's like, maybe we don't know, but this gives us a reason to ask and pursue it, right? If it's written here.
Mhm.
What else? Yeah, the Bristol Trail Network, there's been lots of stuff with that. Since
Is-
2020, like there's been a decent amount, I think, since
The
then.
Oh, yeah.
watershed is it, well, it's an adjacent town.
That's
Could it be
adjacent.
either in New Haven or Bristol, I don't know.
Yeah, and it gets a lot of,
Even though we've never done anything.
connection to Bristol
it.
somehow, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good point, very good, yeah, watershed.
It was new though, the Watershed Center's been there for a long time.
Oh, is it new?
I would think since 2020, right?
Yeah.
No,
it-
no.
Oh,
It's been around a long time before that.
Okay. And we can always like keep thinking of things too. I just want to get something down that we all kind of can, see and agree with. Evaluate opportunities to conserve lands with high natural resource value, especially adjacent to town owned or already conserved properties. This is fantastic. We're going the Fuller parcel here.
Yeah.
Whoops.
We also did reach out to the inn holder that lived adjacent to Sycamore Park, but that didn't go anywhere.
It's so funny how it fills from the bottom and goes up.
Yeah, well, you can change that.
Yeah,
It's just
no, that's funny.
Okay, well, that's pretty awesome, but we are interested in continuing to do easements, we talked about that recently. If possible.
At some point, I want to see if Springstone Farm will be on that.
And then, let's see, develop individual management plans for town parks. Okay, this is something we've done a lot of, well, Chris has done a lot of, and we approve of those. Okay, so. Created plans for.
Memorial, Eagle,
Hmm,
sorry, I'm spacing on the third one. Oh, we did Lord's Prayer Rock. And Seth Hill. And those two are presently with the select board for their review and at a future meeting. And we are working on one for the town green and the Shackett picnic area. We could do one for the coffin factory parcel as well.
Can you spell Shackett, you think?
Shackett.
Where is that? Why am I not picturing?
That's on Route 116. There, between Saunders and the Sycamore Park, it's that little, there's a pull off there and a picnic table.
Oh, yeah, just before River Road.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, wow, I never knew the name for that.
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it has a name. I know. Oh, and then you were saying maybe Coffin Factory coming next.
We could do one for Coffin Factory. And the town green. Oh, you have that one already. Yeah. Town green is in prep. Yep.
Prep and then planned.
As an edit, you have Memorial and Eagle together, but you have Eagle in front of Memorial, so just.
Oh, yeah.
After Memorial.
Did we finish Sycamore? Sycamore probably predates the town plan. That was the first one, right?
It did predate the town plan, and the current status of that one is that we updated it in 2023 and the select board approved it in 2023.
Great. What about those other ones, like the Fuller ones that have to get? That was the Vermont Area Land Trust of that review, right? So that one probably got updated when
Which Fuller? Sorry.
when Sycamore River access was joined with the Fuller parcel.
Yeah.
That was updated.
What we did was we rolled in that parcel into the Saunders River access. And so technically there is an interim management plan that was authored by us and the Vermont River Conservancy that was previously approved by the select board. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to revisit that, both to update it, but also to generate a town plan, a management plan that's more in the format of the other town park management plans. But we've put that kind of low on the list because it did have at least an interim management plan.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the interim plan is approved. Okay, how's that look? Man, it was so much work. We really shined on that one, you know?
Right?
That one's awesome. Thank you for all your work on that, Kristen.
Yeah.
Gee. And what's nice about those two is not just the ecological part, but there is like a nice history part to it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, what's nice is if do you have all the final versions and I could put them on the web page?
Yep. Two of them are already up, I notice.
Or if there's other ones, we could just make it like, we could make like a whole section, it's all management plans, we have them somewhere that,
Yep.
through various computer crashes, they'll still exist somewhere, they don't get lost or something.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, this last one here, consider river corridor conservation and protection measures to decrease flood erosion loss and increase flood resiliency and discourage additional infrastructure in the river corridor area. We sort of have some generic text here. Do we accomplish anything with this? I mean, we had a few meetings with the planning commission, but I really am not an expert in this regard. Kristen, you've done a lot more with the river.
Yep. So one thing that has transpired in the recent couple of years is there's a new legislative act in the state of Vermont, and so by 2028, I think it is, all river corridors in the state of Vermont will turn over to the jurisdiction of for they will have state review. Any pending development within a river corridor will have a state review requirement, and so to because of that, it maybe makes a little less sense for Bristol to formally consider adopting
Yep,
river corridors at this time, because by the time we issue a new town plan,
yep.
that state law will be phased in.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna,
So I
so
would
the
imagine in our update to the town plan, we'll be making reference to that probably.
great, something like that. Oh dear. Something like that.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, well, that is really helpful. I think this will give us a nice jumping off place to talk to AZ when they come next time and think about what was asked of us, what were we able to accomplish, what do we remember to accomplish, what are things they still would like from us that we can roll into the next plan. I think this is a nice place to start that conversation. So
Mhm.
those like to add or discuss about this, about the town plan?
Not at the moment.
Cool, thank you. This is a really useful exercise. I really appreciate your help with this. I think this is something that can really help us think about the future and make that next conversation really useful. So I appreciate your help. Thanks. Great, let me find the agenda among all my files. You know, another thing before we move on, I wonder though, if we should be also, and we don't have to do this now, let's keep thinking about what kind of strategic recommendations we might make for the 2028 Bristol Town Plan. What do we want to see, right? What do we feel we've done? What do we think is maybe no longer our purview or becomes our purview? What is modern conservation look like for 2028 and beyond into the 30s? You know, what are we looking at that may be needing updating or, you know, whatever that means, right? I think looking at that document and realizing, it's been slowly updated a little bit each time. And now, oh man, 2028, like a whole new consulting firm is gonna rewrite this sucker. Like, what do we want in there? Like, what can we envision for the future? I think it'd be good to just start thinking those things.
One thing that occurs to me.
Yeah,
An idea is that as a town, and I can't think of any towns that do this specifically, but to be proactive and go to the community and seek out any potential landowners that might want to consider conserving their land. Because there is town resources to help in that process. You have organizations like the Millbury Area Land Trust, Vermont Land Trust, et cetera, that are out there doing it, or places where people go, but maybe the town itself and our commission could take a role, and that could be part of the town plan.
yep,
And that would kind of dovetail with what Zaley and Alex had been talking about recently in terms of making that conservation information more accessible to a lot of folks. Maybe,
And
yeah,
further, just because I happen to have seen it, There's the 30-30 plan, so 30% of the state to be by 2030 and 50% by 2050. It seems awfully ambitious, but I don't know where the numbers are at the current count. So it seems like they could use some help from all hands on deck.
Okay, so let's keep thinking about what do we hope, what do we envision, what can we imagine will be, the next cutting edge, what we want to see in that plan too. And if we think of those things earlier, sooner than later, then we can maybe shelf shape that document too. There's something really nice.
I'm gonna jump in just briefly because
Yeah.
I may be going up to Lincoln, as I indicated. And because it's too bad that they're both scheduled at the same time. But I do want to try and attend some of those, and it's just always going to be a conflict until they get through the next 3 or 4, I think, into
Are
June.
you about to suggest that we jump to agenda item E, part C, pruning point to be updated?
Well,
I think
I'll
it would be
quickly
important.
say that I will send out an email, as I have in the
Okay.
past, to mention a date and maybe just one date instead of a couple dates. Once I look at the weather, I mean, we could have done it in the past couple days, but I was working on my taxes, so that wasn't gonna work for me. Anyhow, that's one item, and then, I don't think there's anything else that I see on the agenda that
Okay.
requires voting for a quorum and so on. I am curious about the Vermont Land Trust, request for volunteers, but and I can also report, maybe some other people are aware of it, but Al Carnatz, who lives in New Haven and works for the Vermont Land Trust to help conserve farm properties, just completed his 100th, which is an extraordinarily high number and may be very difficult for anybody else to achieve over, I don't know, 3+ decades of his role in that capacity. So it's pretty spectacular. So
Cool.
always like to be the bearer of good news.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'll head out and I'll try and check on the minutes and maybe even the video, but unless there's any other need for me to stay.
That's fine. We always value your opinion, but yeah, just make sure you sort of know about planning the pruning.
Yes, I will send that email.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Great.
Okay, so let's move to Bristol. Does anyone have anything else they want to say? I think we should move on to the Bristol Pond Dam updates. The dam updates. Kristen, you sent out an email about that. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. Kate Kelly from the Lewis Creek Association emailed me when I sent out the students report in the last month or so, and she forwarded an update that she received from Mike Wachowski from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department. And Mike had reported that they did go in and have a contractor cut the brush on the top of the dam back in, I believe it was August or September, in fact. And they had intended to breach the beaver dam at that time, but there was quite a lot of rain and runoff to the dam, and so they were not able to effectively breach the beaver dam, and so they stopped and plugged the breach, and they're going to reassess this coming summer. They also reported, or he reported, that they saw no active evidence of beaver activity, but I think that conflicts with what Alex has seen there and maybe some others have seen there. So I think those of us who spend time there at the dam notice a lot of beaver activity over the years. Um, so that was the update from Vermont Fish and Wildlife. Um, I reached out to the students about coming to present their report to us, and this week they're on spring break, so this month was not good, but we'll try for April instead, or April 9th meeting.
Perfect. So that means that April 9th meeting, as our two sort of highlights that meeting, I believe AZ is coming back, and we'll also hear from the students. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and we can keep it short so that we're because I know the meeting will be packed. So,
It'll be a green up day last planning too, I think that day.
yeah.
Not that that takes a lot, but just, I know we have that on the agenda. Cause that sounds, I was gonna say, that sounds great, but I don't know what to think of this damn thing anymore. That sounds like an update, I guess. That was an update. Okay, well, thank you for, yeah, continuing to just chip away at the strange problem. Educational outreach, pollinator presentation. I assume no one knows anything about this because this was Zaylee's project. Okay, I'm gonna table that. Conservation podcast. Kieran one is not able to be here tonight because he is, I believe, on a podcast. So that's interesting timing with that. So he wanted me to tell you about this. He wanted to solicit story ideas. So the idea with this, right, is that there's this radio show possibly that's starting up soon. They're getting ideas, they're trying to get conservation commissions involved. They want us to come up with a few different content pieces that we could do. Maybe like, let's say a 1 hour story or a half hour, I'm not actually sure, I can think of it. But it would be some kind of content that conservation commissions could do, and they've asked a bunch of conservation commissions, we're one of them, we're thinking about maybe 3 different things we could contribute to this podcast this year. Karen was saying we could do something with Saunders River access. He got excited about that idea and told that to the radio station at this last meeting on Tuesday. So he was thinking about that. He was also thinking we could record the speakers like the ones in Lincoln that Jenna just left to go see. So lots of different ideas out there. They are doing lots of fundraising, getting very excited about this new radio station. And yeah, he just wanted us to see if we wanted to brainstorm. There's also 2 Vermont Master Naturalists, I should say, that are attached to the project as well, that Kieran's gonna help oversee and help work with them to think of some content for this show as well. So if anyone had any ideas of like a radio show you were interested in or excited about, or thought would be a good idea, that'd be great. Otherwise, we could table further conversation until Kieran is here next month. Did anyone have anything they want to contribute that we could send to him this month? Okay, cool. We'll continue that conversation next month with him then. All right, parks updates. We don't have Aiden here today. I don't actually, he didn't mention to me where he was gonna be. Sometimes he does. So I don't know where he is. Hope he's all right. Does anyone have any updates they'd like to make about the parks? Is there some general updates?
I talked to him, he said he was gonna email something, but that didn't happen. And all he did say is he did go to Sycamore, maybe one other one, I can't remember, and just walked around, and that's all he said.
Okay, so the parks are still in the
Nothing
door
big,
to this time of
yeah.
year then, okay. So then planned spring work, we wanna be pruning those trees. I have this on our annual agenda to think about, maybe this is when we should start thinking about planning spring work days. Does anyone, or maybe maybe we'll plan anything today, but maybe we should make a list of what kinds of work we think we need to do, and then we can plan those, closer to time, maybe next month. What do we think? We know we wanna prune maybe in the next week or 2. What about other spring planned work that we need to do? Does anyone have any idea on that? Gardens that need looking after, things that are, we recognize are needing work? Or should we wait for Aiden?
What's this status of the pollinator garden?
That's a great question. That was
I
something
bet.
that Helen really sort of took.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was put in by the Bristol Trail Networks interns years ago. So the Bristol Trail Network did agree to help maintain that as well. So that's always something we could tap them to help with that. And we can help maintain it, or we could mow it if it's just becoming covered in knotweed as well, sort of, depending on where we land on that and what that health of that looks like. Okay, cool. So let's just wait then. Maybe we can hear from Aiden. We'll just table that for now. And then maybe hopefully we can hear from Aiden, or we can maybe even email him. would you mind, because did you just talk to him, would you follow up and ask him what work days he thinks would be helpful for this year? Like, is there a Sycamore Park work that needs to happen? Is it that pollinator garden, perennial garden, or something else he's seeing that he would like us to help with? That could be just like, or something he might like suggest, not that he's like, just if he had any ideas. And then John was gonna send that email. Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna move on to the ABCC. ABCC is the, here we go. It's the Association of Vermont Conservation Commissions. And we set aside $50 a year out of our operating budget. We have $300 operating budget. We set aside $50 every year for that, like the dues for that. I got an email, let me find my most recent email from them. And, okay, and it looks like, we want to support the Association of Vermont Conservation Commissions, I assume we always have, with $50 every year as like a dues, and members that are in good standing are those that have paid their money that year, and then those are the conservation commissions that can apply for these tiny grants. And the tiny grants are a max award of $800 per commission. And they have $6,000 in total funding available. The only way you're allowed to apply is if you have been paying your dues. And I got an email from them telling us that we have not paid them since 2022.
Oh, that's bad.
Like, so I'm gonna try to work on that. They said that they've been billing the town, but I've not gotten money, so I'm gonna try to follow up with that. Again, when I meet with Greg, maybe I can talk about some of the accounts we were talking about, and I would like to be able to make sure that gets billed and that gets paid from our operating budget. Because we've been not spending $50 out of the operating budget forever, assuming that money was being taken care of, and apparently it hasn't been. This is the first I found out about it. And I feel really bad that we haven't supported them, although we thought we were. I mean, I've even gotten bills and I've been like, oh yeah, okay, pay this, and then I guess the money wasn't getting to them. I didn't know about it, so I'm gonna follow up with the town and try to set that straight. Just because I think it's the right thing to do and it's something we thought we were already doing. So that's a little frustrating. But hopefully we can at least pay them this year. I talked to them. I asked what we could do to get back in this standing. Will we back pay for years missed? They said, no, just pay for this year and they'll put us back on their increases. So I'm sorry that happened. I thought we were supporting them, but I guess we haven't been. So that was that email. Thoughts, comments?
I'll just mention that we did get a tiny grant, apparently before 2022. I think it's supported, I think if my memory serves, it supported the historic sign at the coffin factory.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool. That would have been around like 2016 or something, I think that. Right?
Well, it was, yeah,
17.
before the pandemic, maybe.
Yeah, well, I remember Andy was spreading seeds and he was like when we put that
Yeah,
down.
good point. Yep. Yep.
And he's in third grade now, so
Yeah.
around 2017-ish, maybe 2018.
Yeah. So we
It's
do
just-
have a history of having received one of their tiny grants before, at least.
Yeah, but I don't think we've tried to get one in a long time. So not in the last 4 years, but so that is another pot of money we can think about if we have ideas that would be 800 or less, that they could help with that. Cool. Okay, so that brings us to Green Up Day. Yes, great. Okay, we'll talk about Green Up Day. Green Up Day is May 2nd of 2026. I don't have a lot to say right now, other than just to remind everyone that is coming up. We plan to do pretty much what we've done in other years. I would love to have someone sit at the table with me on May 2nd on that Saturday morning, so I'm not all alone.
I'll be there.
Everyone's invited, so I'm not alone. If it rains, that's the worst.
I know, last year it rained.
That was brutal. I know, I wasn't there, I felt so bad. So yeah, so we're gonna do our best, hope it's a nice day. And I was seeing so much garbage, right? The snow just melted and oh, gross. Oh man, that was really covering a lot of horrors. I keep seeing, there's a few places I've already noted, like that needs a birthday bag, that needs a bag, that needs a bag, right?
So say maybe we can all keep a list of places as
Yeah.
we're driving through the next couple months.
Yeah,
So we
totally.
can suggest it at the table.
The table, yeah, that's a good point.
So
So
even if you
people-
don't come to the table, let us know.
people at the table, we always get asked, like, where should I go? Like, I'll take 8 bags, where should I go? And we're like, a lot of the pull-offs are a good bet, but if someone knows a place, we could send several people there and make a dent, you know? That would be great. So yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to do a big planning then, and we'll talk the most about that. At our next meeting will be our April meeting, and then bam, that's cleanup day. So next meeting will be the time to talk about it. And I'll have more updates. I don't have the bags, I don't have the posters yet. I have nothing. So we'll talk about all that next month. Will be the time for really gearing that up. That'll be the 9th. That'll give us a little over 3 weeks to talk about that and get that going. Okay, Roger, officially now, Timberlands Multi-Trail Partnership, have you heard anything?
Hey, no, I mean my understanding was they were kind of hibernating for the winter, and so I figure it's probably good to circle back around now.
Okay. So no updates, that's fine.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me where the money is coming from to like build the trails. Is that, do we know? Do you know? Roger?
I think he's just paying for it. That was my understanding, is that they're paying for it.
Okay.
That's privately funded, is what I would say.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard much about that, so we'll just table that, no updates, right? We'll just keep waiting to hear about that. Okay, the last item I have, under old businesses, Vermont Land Trust request for volunteers. Kristen, this is something that you were touching base with these people about, right? Is that, I had this on the calendar as ask about it in March, and now it's March, so you could just say ask about it again later, but this is, I just like had a note, it was like, put this back on for March.
Yep. No, that's fair. I know there's some planning happening involving Vermont Land Trust and the Addison County Riverwatch Collaborative. But I don't have any specifics, and I will nudge them to get us some dates and requests for volunteer help.
Cool, so we'll just roll it over for next month.
That'd be great.
Cool, great. Move on. Okie dokie, so that leaves us in with our next meeting will be planned for, oops, there's an error. Our, normal meeting will be planned for April 9th of 2026 in the Holly Hall Conference Room with a Zoom option. And does anyone have anything else they want to talk about? Are we good? Great. Would I like to make a motion? Anyone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion.
Awesome, Roger, would anyone second that motion?
A second that.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure, thank you. See you next month.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you,
Bye.
Carolyn.